We've all experienced it. That feeling when your phone buzzes and you're in the middle of a conversation, or you're trying to get the kids in bed, or you're supposed to be paying attention in class, and you just can't stop thinking about your phone. You're wondering who it was, if it was important. Do I need to do something about it right now? What if it's my mom calling? I don't want her to think that I don't care about her. There's a million things that run through your head. And it doesn't matter if you're a parent, if you're a young professional and maybe you're working a lot, but you don't have any kids yet, a teenager, and even a young child. We are all wired to orient to novel stimuli in our environment. The tech companies know it. The marketing companies know it. And their job is to try to do whatever it takes to grab your attention. So sometimes the strategies that we implement for ourselves are to set reminders on our phone to do certain things throughout the day. Don't forget to take your medicine. Don't forget to pick up, Charlie from the after school program at 5:30. Don't forget to do your homework or upload it to Google Classroom. Whatever you've done, on your phone, it's usually a combination of reminders, notifications from a whole bunch of apps, and dings to your email, phone messages, text messages, you name it, there's a reminder for it. And everyone's asking you to make sure you set the reminder because it's an impossibility to remember all the things you have to do, especially if the games and the apps on your phone are trying to get your attention simultaneously so that you look at the app and you check out what's going on with your bank account, with your French lesson, with your Google Classroom. It doesn't matter. The point is we can't filter it out. That's not the way that our brains were built. Our brains were built to orient to every novel stimulus that comes into our space. So when all of those dings and buzzes start coming, even if the phone's on silent and we see a flash of a notification, our brain still recognizes it visually and knows what it is. We have to check. We have to find out. We have to determine whether or not that flash or buzz or ding was important and something that we need to act on. When there are 100 of them coming at you throughout the day because you have your social media notifications turned on, there's no way that you're just going to not look at it and not pay attention. Or are there things that you can do to make some changes? In one high school class, there was a teacher who actually did a study of her students. She had two different classes, both Spanish classes, and one of them was definitely more challenging than the other in terms of classroom management and behavior. So she actually ran an experiment, and the class that was doing better academically was still allowed to have access to their phones and did not experience the same restriction that she put on the class that had more difficulty managing their cell phone use. And interestingly, what she ended up finding was that the class where she took the cell phones away actually started improving in their academic performance and their test scores, even though the other class seemed like they were more on task and better behaved and just were producing higher quality work. So why did that happen? Well, the research shows that the closer your phone is to you, the more you're distracted by it. And your phone could even be in your bag, and just knowing it's there and it might be going off diverts your attention. And there's always a part of your brain just waiting for some sort of notification to pay attention to. The technology industry has wired your brain for distraction. And the solution is that the further away your phone is from your body, the greater the distance that phone is, the more white space you create between you and your phone, and the better able your brain is to pay attention to what's going on right in front of you. So the further away the phone is, the better the test scores better the test scores become. Now, this is documented research, and this is research that was perfectly reflected in this little mini classroom experiment that the Spanish teacher did. So, what I want to offer you today is really think about that, because when you're constantly waiting and orienting towards all this stuff that's coming at you, it triggers anxiety when you don't check your phone, when you don't try to figure out if something's important or not, when you try to fight the natural tendency of your brain to do what it's supposed to do. So it's a lot of willpower that we really shouldn't have to be exerting every day. And we really shouldn't have to be in this constant state of stress and anxiety. So the solution is to start setting up some physical boundaries between you and your phone. And that goes for parents, that goes for professionals, that goes for teens. So little things that you can do at home is set up simple rules like, okay, we're just not going to have phones, tablets, smartwatches, any of that at the dining room table while we're eating. Yes, I did say smartwatches because you might forget to take them off when you go to sit down at the table, and all of those distracting messages still come in. Maybe you have the same rule in the bedroom when your kids are going to sleep. They do not get to play games before bed. The iPad, the tablets go into a charging station. They even make charging stations that are lockable so that you and your children can power down at the end of the evening and just be present with each other. Now, as parents, we often make excuses like, oh, I just need to check that email. Oh, I just have to make sure that wasn't grandma who was calling. Oh, I forgot to write the teacher and tell her X, Y, and Z. The answer is no. You don't have to keep that running to-do list in your head when you're trying to put your children to bed, or when you're trying to be present at the dinner table, or when you're playing games in the backyard outside with your children. And as you start to break free of your own connection to your cell phone, and you set the physical boundaries and create the white space in your home for presence and connection, you're going to see a shift in your children. You're going to see a shift in your level of patience. You're going to see a shift in their availability. And you're going to set up an environment that fights the pull of technology to create this stressed and anxious environment where we all have to constantly be checking and knowing and figuring out if something is important. We can just be present with our families, be participating in the activities that are right in front of us, and wiring our brains to focus, to engage in something that is goal directed, engage in deeper and more meaningful conversations with the people that we love, and stay focused on a task like cooking or following through with a bedtime routine so that your children can also do the same. And unconsciously, as parents, because we give ourselves permission to carry our phone around wherever we go, we also are not modeling the habits that we want our children to embody for the long run. And it is distracting to us, and it's distracting to them. I mean, my own dog knows when I'm spending too much time on my phone. I think, oh, my daughter is off at an activity for the whole entire day. It's okay for me to stand in the kitchen and scroll through my email. But when I sit down on the couch, if I set my phone down next to me, my dog will actually come up and steal it from me and run away because he wants my full attention and my love. And I see it with children. I see it with animals. I see it between parents, that connection is traded for this wiring and this pull and this need to constantly be checking your notifications, whether that is, a little red circle on the side of an app, a buzz, a ding, a flash on your screen. We're constantly waiting to see what else is happening outside of our immediate space. So I challenge you as parents, put your phone down, start setting up those white spaces. If You can go to healthychildren.org. There is actually a family media planner that you can look through that helps to guide you through the thought process of how you're going to use technology in your own house, but also how you're going to start building in other time away from screens that allows you and your family and your children to be more present, more regulated, less stressed, less anxious, and more empowered to become the best version of yourself and the best version of your children that you can be.